Hey everybody, it's Marshall Mc here, and this is going to be my Doctor Strange Easter eggs video. There is a lot of Easter eggs in the movie. I'm only going to do a few of the big ones just because I feel like the other ones are pretty comic booky, and they're much more above my level of knowing of Marvel Comics. But spoiler alert for the movie, if you guys haven't seen it, it's obvious because it's an Easter eggs video. So you'd have to have watched the movie to know what I'm talking about. So yeah, spoiler alert, and other than that, let us dive in to the world of Doctor Strange, because this movie was amazing! And also go watch my review as well. But anyway, yeah, so jumping in, obviously the first huge Easter egg of the movie, the Eye of Agamotto, is the time gem. We saw in the movie how Benedict Cumberbatch, or Stephen Strange, used the time gem to do a lot of stuff. I like in the beginning of the movie, well, near the beginning anyway, he was using it to like kind of practice with it, like with the apple and stuff, like reversing time on the apple, but then speeding up time so that it looked like it was eaten. I thought that was really funny. It was a cool sequence to kind of get us introduced to the time gem. By the end of the movie, Wong says you don't want to walk around New York City with a time gem, or with an infinity stone around your neck. They didn't specifically say time gem, but we all know it's the time gem. Now later on, well, I guess not later on, in the beginning of the movie, I don't know, I'm all over the place today. In the beginning of the movie, they talk about how they were debating whether that song was from 1977 or 1978. Doctor Strange, like the first big media type thing for Doctor Strange, was the TV movie / series. It was in 1978. I don't know if it's like a Doctor Strange like TV movie, or if it was a TV show, but I'm pretty sure it was a TV show. But it was a Doctor Strange show, and it hadn't gone for a while. I don't think it had a long run, but it was in 1978. So I don't know if that's a direct like Easter egg or what it is, but I just decided to throw that one in there because that's a pretty big deal. Back to when Doctor Strange was first introduced in live action, right? Now, this one was a huge Easter egg, and I don't know for sure if it was War Machine, but in the beginning of the movie, when he is in the Lamborghini, Doctor Strange, they talk about how they were going through patients, and they talked about this military man, obviously, who was in experimental armor who had gotten hurt and needed, I guess, a surgery. So I think this is War Machine, even though the director had said there wasn't going to be like a War Machine Easter egg in here, like it wasn't a War Machine Easter egg. I definitely think it is, because it sounds a lot like it. I mean, how many, military-type guys in experimental armor do we know? One, well, I guess, wasn't Falcon in the military? I don't know, but it's obviously pretty much, like, who else would need a surgery that just got off of having an injury? War Machine, duh. And then, of course, we also see in the Lamborghini that they talk about the person who was struck by lightning. Captain Marvel? I don't know. It could be. I don't know if this one's a real, like, Easter egg. They did say that there was a Captain Marvel Easter egg in the movie, and that's the only one I could think of at the top of my head. I might have to go rewatch the movie just to make sure, but I'm pretty sure they were talking about Captain Marvel in that sequence, which are two huge shout-outs. Like, War Machine's a big shout-out, but Captain Marvel, I mean, we haven't even seen her yet. Brie Larson isn't even the character yet. I mean, as far as we know, this is all we've seen of her as Captain Marvel, with the pajamas on reading the comic, which I thought was pretty cool. But yeah, so I don't know if that was like a for sure Captain Marvel Easter egg, but it does sound like one, so it's probably a Captain Marvel Easter egg, that's all I'm going to say. But we also got to hear about the artifacts in the movie, like the ancient artifacts. So in the Doctor Strange comics, there are a lot of ancient artifacts. We saw Baron Mordo's boots that had like the flying ability, well, I guess not flying ability, more like a floating ability, I don't know what you'd call it. Levitation, even though Doctor Strange's cloak is the cloak of levitation, which is also an ancient artifact. Wong ended up using the Wand of Watum in the movie. That is this wand that you were seeing here. So they've been mentioning some of these ancient artifacts quite a bit, so I thought that was actually really interesting. And I do think that I want to hear more about them. I want to hear like more about the magical side, because even though we got introduced to magic, I want to hear even more about magic. I mean, we have so much to explore with Doctor Strange 2. And trust me, there's probably going to be a Doctor Strange 2. I mean, the movie crushed it, and it's still crushing it right now. So, there's probably going to be a sequel. Now, this was actually really interesting because I didn't know this one, but apparently Benedict Cumberbatch voiced Doctor Strange. Not Doctor Strange, what's wrong with me? Voiced Dormammu. I don't know, I'm out of it today. Voiced Dormammu. So Dormammu, the villain, Dormammu was voiced by Benedict Cumberbatch, who played Doctor Strange, also voiced Dormammu. There we go. Tongue twisters, all these names, it's weird. But yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch did voice Dormammu in the movie. He did voice some characters in Lord of the Rings, so I guess it shouldn't be that big of a surprise, but I didn't know that he voiced Dormammu because I just didn't know that. So when I had heard that, I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. He was voicing the villain. So there you go. I mean, that was pretty cool too. Now, this is not really an Easter egg, more like an obvious thing. Stan Lee's cameo in the movie. We see him on the train, I believe. Like, wasn't he on a train or something like that? Like, reading a book. So we got that Stan Lee cameo. That was actually pretty cool too. I think that one was a really good one. So, of course, Stan Lee has a cameo in every movie. I think my favorite one of my favorites that he's been in so far has been Civil War. This, package is for Tony Stank. Like, that was hilarious. I almost died laughing. I also like the Deadpool cameo that he did. Also really funny. So this one wasn't as interesting, as hilarious, but it's always cool to see Stan. I always love seeing the Stan Lee cameos. Like, who would DC have in a cameo? Like, Jeff Johns or something? Or, I don't know, I just want to see, what DC would do if they had, a cameoing, person like that. But other than that, those were some of the Easter eggs. Those were, the big Easter eggs. There's obviously more, like how, what's her name? Christine was operating on Steven in the movie, and he used astral projection to help her through the operation. That took place in the Oath storyline, so that's another Easter egg. There are tons more, but I just wanted to focus on some of the big ones, just because, not as long as a video for you guys, and some cool Easter eggs that you guys can just hear, right? But what did you guys think of the Easter eggs of the movie? And did you like the movie overall? Leave your comments down below, and I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.